Well, it's Tuesday, June 9th, and welcome to the reading of the Mansfield News Journal. Let's begin today's reading with the area deaths. Charles Xenophon Beckler passed away Friday, June 5th at Ohio Health Medical Center after succumbing to complications from diabetes and heart disease. The Beckler family will receive friends Thursday, June 11th from 9 to 11 and 1 to 3 in the Snyder Funeral Home, Lindsay Chapel, Loudonville, with graveside service immediately following at 3:15 p.m. in Green Lawn Cemetery, Perrysville. Stacy Dawn Hamilton Boggs, 35, of Shelby, went to be with her Lord and Savior on Friday, June 5th. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, a walk-through calling hours where mask usage is encouraged will be held from 4 to 7 p.m. Friday, June 12th at Maddox Memorial Temple, COGIC in Mansfield. Private funeral services will take place. Benny Berge, 70, of Gallion, passed away Sunday morning, June 7th, at home. There will not be any services held at this time. Gwen Shirk Cockerell, 69, of Fredericktown, passed away March 17th. The Snyder Funeral Home is assisting the family. Hugh Woodward Krause II, 87, of Mansfield, passed away June 4th. The Snyder Funeral Home is assisting the family. Marlene Kaylee Harvey, 83, died on Saturday, June 6th, following an extended illness. Friends may call at the First Lutheran Church in Shelby on Thursday, June 11th, from 10 to 11 a.m. Funeral services will immediately follow at 11 a.m. Virginia Arbotus Hopkins, 79, of Crestline, went home to be with the Lord on Saturday, June 6th. Family and friends may visit from 6 to 8 p.m. on Thursday at their Ontario home of Wapner Funeral Directors, with the funeral service at the funeral home on Friday, June 12th at 10 a.m. Paul B. Johns passed away on Friday, June 5th, following a heart attack. He was 73. Due to the current health regulations, Paul's family will be holding private services Wednesday, June 10th at the Marion Avenue Snyder Funeral Home. Jonathan M. John LaRue, 30, of Mount Gilead, passed away June 3rd. The Snyder Funeral Home is assisting the family. Robert Frank Matthews Jr., 87, passed away on Thursday, June 4th, at the home of his loving daughter and son-in-law, Crystal and Rodney Wright. Friends and family are welcome at the home of Crystal and Rodney Wright each day from 4 to 9 p.m. until the day of the memorial service. At the request of Mr. Matthews, a memorial service will be held from 12 to 3 p.m. on Sunday, June 14th at Imani. Retta Joan Mellick, 86, of Mansfield, passed away June 6th. Wapner Funeral Directors Ontario Home is handling arrangements. Andrew N. Schweitzer, 101 years old, of Mansfield, passed away peacefully June 5th at Ohio Health Mansfield Hospital. A graveside service will be held at 10:30 Thursday at Mansfield Catholic Cemetery. Cheryl L. Stover, 60, of Crestline, passed away June 4th. The Schneider-Gom Funeral Home is assisting the family. Well, my friends, that concludes the Tuesday Mansfield News Journal area deaths. I should tell you that it is my desire that God lets me live to be at least 100. My name is Pam, and now for our first article. News report. The Morrow Jail 100% COVID positive by Lou Whitmire. In Mount Gilead, the Morrow County Correctional Facility, a 126-bed jail that is used as a detention center by the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, had 100% of its inmates test positive for COVID-19, according to an immigrant advocacy group. The Morrow County facility was the first county jail in Ohio and the first ICE detention center in the United States to have been 100% COVID-19 positive, according to a report by the Ohio Immigrant Alliance. That percentage may have dropped due to some prisoners recovering from the disease, Lynn Tremonti, OHIA director, said Monday. And that is the Ohio Immigrant Alliance, OHIA. Morrow County Health District Commissioner Stephanie Bragg, the Morrow County Sheriff's Office, and the Morrow County Health District, in a news release Monday, said there has not been a new case of COVID-19 diagnosed in the Morrow County Correctional Facility in nearly 3 weeks. The analysis by OHIA reported that during the COVID-19 pandemic, the Morrow County Correctional Facility failed to follow its own infectious disease control program, or IDCP, as well as the National Detention Standards, the NDS, require its contract with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or the ICE, resulting in 100% COVID positive issues. A petition demands the jail is shut down. The ONA was presenting a petition with 374 signatures to the Morrow County Commissioners and other elected officials on Monday, demanding that the jail be shut down because of these problems. It definitely was 100% positive for the jail inmates at one point, because they were not even separating the population anymore, Tremonti said Monday. At first, they were trying to put the sick people in one room and the healthy people in another room, but then it became so prevalent that they put everybody together. Tremonti said she and a physician went to the health district's meeting on May 18th and spoke about the COVID-19 jail situation. We told them what the conditions were at the jail, and I would say they were in absolute denial, Tremonti said. At first, they were saying, it's not their issue, we should talk to the jail. It's not their problem, basically. Then they were saying that our facts are wrong, but our facts were confirmed by a federal judge. She said the thermometers being used to check inmates' temperatures at the jail appeared to have expired in 2016. The report says no inmates have seen a doctor. There's no doctor that has actually seen the inmates, Tremonti said. I spoke with one of the commissioners. He was like, well, there's a doctor that's supposed to go there. And I said, yeah, I know. Just because you write something on paper doesn't mean it happens. According to the new report, none of the inmates and detainees at Morrow County have been seen by a doctor in the facility despite their COVID-19 diagnosis. Nursing staff are not present at the jail overnight or on the weekends, and even when they are there, they often decline to provide health care, including Tylenol. Jail staff have repeatedly refused to call an ambulance for detainees in serious distress. What's more, there are no interpreters available to translate detainee medical conversations, calling into question how jail staff are even making such life or death decisions in the first place. Several of these problems were first documented in February by Freedom for Immigrants in a formal complaint sent to the Department of Homeland Security, which has gone unanswered, according to Tremonti's news release. Laura Chambers-Kirsch, MD, said multiple well-conducted investigations and legitimate reports have shown that the conditions in the Morrow County Correctional Facility are inhumane and unequivocally, recklessly endanger the health and lives of detainees during the COVID-19 pandemic. The 2019 National Detention Standards clearly guarantee detainees medical care, including timely responses to medical complaints, as well as staff or professional language services. The level to which this is not happening is ludicrous. Morrow County is not complying with multiple of these standards that have serious health implications. Clean clothing and linens, personal hygiene products, available functional toilets, wash basins, and showers, hot meals with proper nutritional content. As a physician, I am shocked and appalled at the way detainees have been treated and the utter disregard for their safety and lives. Because the Morrow County facility has been unable to comply with these standards and unable to provide for detainees even the most basic measures to maintain their health and well-being, the only responsible course of action is to terminate their agreement with ICE, Chambers-Kirsch said. Joan Lederer, MD, said the evidence contained in this new report indicates an immediate need to investigate by an impartial body the situation at Morrow County Jail and all jails in Ohio. It is absolutely wrong for prisoners to be intensely exposed to this deadly virus. Prisoners who have committed no crimes or crimes that in no way threaten others should be released to a safe quarantine situation. By not releasing these prisoners, the whole community and ultimately the whole state is at risk for more COVID-19 as workers come and go into the jail and are also exposed. This is a public health crisis and a moral and ethical crisis. Jessica Merlin, MD, PhD, infectious disease physician and associate professor of medicine at the University of Pittsburgh, said, "There is no medically safe way to detain people during a pandemic, and the reports from Morrow County Jail suggest practices there are particularly unsafe and have led to a high, serious COVID-19 outbreak." In addition to calling for closure of Morrow County Correctional Facility, the Ohio Immigrant Alliance is raising money to help immigrants released from detention isolate in hotel rooms and to fund commissary needs for those who remain detained. The Morrow County Sheriff's Office and the Morrow County Health District said in a news release Monday, the last case of COVID-19 in the facility was diagnosed in an inmate on May 19th. There have been 0 new cases diagnosed since that date. Once there have been 4 weeks of no new COVID-19 cases, outbreaks of the disease are considered to be over in accordance with the Ohio Department of Health epidemiology guidance. The Morrow County Correctional Facility has a capacity of 126 inmates. During the COVID-19 outbreak in the facility, there were 83 individuals housed at the correctional facility. There have been a total of 54 cases of COVID-19 diagnosed at the Morrow County Correctional Facility. Of these, 3 of the diagnosed cases were staff members, with 51 non-staff members diagnosed with COVID-19 out of 83 individuals housed. The Morrow County Correctional Facility had an infection rate of 61.44%, the joint news release said. The Morrow County Sheriff's Office and the Morrow County Health District have been working closely together to mitigate the spread of COVID-19 within the Morrow County Correctional Facility. The agencies have received technical assistance and advice from the Ohio Department of Health and other state agencies on the best practices for containment and mitigation of the outbreak. Isolation and quarantine procedures, as well as other infection control measures, have been implemented according to state and federal guidance, the joint news release said. On June 16th, as long as there are no new cases in the facility, the COVID-19 outbreak at the Morrow County Correctional Facility will be declared over. The joint Morrow County news release from the Sheriff's and Health District said. Tremonti said that the health department did not test 100% of the population or all 84 inmates. Let's move on. Thespians rally to save the theater during a pandemic. Expenses go on even when the show does not. By Zach Tuggle. In Galion, in front of an empty house at Galion Community Theater, 2 lifelong thespians were trying to save the venue. "I have a lot of family in the theater, and a lot of my friends are from here," says Beth Ann Jarvis, one of the theater's board members. "I want to make sure it stays here and stays strong." Unfortunately, the venue's 230 seats at 127 Harding Way West in downtown Galion have been empty since February due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Though the ticket windows has been closed, the theater's monthly bills still need to be paid. To make matters worse, the theater had completed expensive roof repairs late last year. "That pretty much depleted most of the funds we had," said Rowan Kemp, a volunteer for the theater. The duo started brainstorming in March how they could best help the venue that has been a part of both of their lives since their childhood. By April, they had a blueprint for what is now known as the Fill the Seats campaign, a digital way to keep the theater's loyal fans safely entertained while still generating revenue to pay for the venue's operating costs. "We've received an amazing amount of support from the entire community," Jarvis said. "We've had donations from people who aren't even connected to the theater." The organization behind Galion Community Theater was formed in 1984 by a handful of local thespians, many of whom remain involved on its board of directors. The cast and crew didn't have a house back then, so they performed their shows at local clubs and anywhere they could assemble an audience. By 1993, they had raised enough money to purchase their beloved location downtown. The building itself was constructed in 1949. It was a 1,200-seat movie house until the late 1970s. Then it was a restaurant, and then a nightclub, and then finally, deteriorated and in need of love, the thespians rescued it and made it a place of their own. It's gone through a lot of different lives, Jarvis said, sitting atop the stage with the house lights shining upon her. The board office was a barber shop next door. If you look back at the photos, it's amazing how far it's come. Over the years, nearly $1 million has been poured back into the venue. The theater boasts updated seating, a large lobby area where guests can mingle before and after shows, a pit for musical instruments that accompany musicals, and renovated areas for performers to prepare their productions. We've got a lot of assets and resources that would be lost, Jarvis said, her voice trailing off at the thought of losing the theater remained too difficult to speak. It takes $3,000 per month to keep the space in possession of Galion Community Theater, which operates as a nonprofit organization. When Jarvis and Kempf were finalizing their fundraising plans, they realized that filling the house at $15 a ticket would cover those expenses. So why not fill the house remotely? That's exactly what they did, with their first digital performance taking place May 1st. The online content that we've been providing has been well received, Kempf said. The first day brought in enough revenue to meet their first week's goal, which the duo had set at $3,000. Each weekly goal is the same. The last show is July 24th. It's 12 weeks to raise 12 months of operating expenses, Jarvis said. So far, they've raised $22,000, but they are noticing that donations have started to slow down, not even halfway through the duration of the fundraiser. The success of the campaign will rely on continued donations, Kempf said. Those are small donations, too, typically the same price as general admission seats would cost at the ticket window. Not to say we wouldn't accept larger donations, Jarvis said with a laugh. Although fresh content is posted to the theater's Facebook page every day, the campaign's main event is the opening night live act that is performed online 8 p.m. every Friday. Each episode lasts between 30 minutes and an hour and includes interviews and short performances from people who have had long-time connections to Galion Community Theater. Audience members are encouraged to interact with the live feed by posting questions or comments. Jarvis and Kempf have been overjoyed by the number of memories from the theater that donors have brought back to life over the past months. People have jumped on this, Jarvis said. They're ready to help the theater and see it succeed. To learn more, visit Fill the Seats campaign online at galleontheater.org/donate. I don't know if any of you can tell, but I also am a frustrated actor who always wanted to be on stage growing up. Moving on. Coaching legend enjoys an unexpected reunion by John Spencer in Ashland. Their most memorable connection covered 60 yards on a football field, but it wasn't the most remarkable. That happened recently when College Football Hall of Fame coach Fred Martinelli called Al Andrews, his former teammate, at Westerville High School near Columbus. It was the first time they had spoken in 75 years. That phone call nearly brought Andrews, 93, to tears as he shared details with his friend Jenny Larica, who helped her former mixed double partner and Martinelli, 91, find each other again. It was just one of those great conversations, said Martinelli, who led Ashland University to 217 wins in 35 years as head football coach and remains a fixture in the community. When you play football with someone, you know them. I could almost tell you the whole starting lineup of our football team in that era. Andrews is the only teammate Martinelli knows of who is still alive. That they were able to reconnect for the first time since Andrews graduated in 1945, he was 2 years ahead of Martinelli in school, is utterly amazing and trumps any collaboration they had for the Westerville Wildcats. Yes, even the 60-yard pass from Martinelli, the sophomore quarterback, to Andrews, the senior tight end. It came against Columbus Mifflin. It was not a touchdown because I went up in the air and came down on the 2-yard line, Andrews said. Our fullback scored in the last minute and we won the game. That's something that sticks in your mind. Martinelli had a really good arm and I was the only one who could catch his passes. Their phone call really wasn't much of a long-distance connection. Andrews only lives about 50 miles away in North Ridgeville, near Cleveland. That made this reunion a little easier because Larisha lives nearby in Bay Village and often checks in with her former tennis partner. He played until he was 91 at his condo, bringing him meals. Larisha's son, Cale, was a defensive lineman at Ashland under current coach Lee Owens. One day, Andrews, who lived in Worcester when Martinelli coached at Ashland, asked Cale if he knew Martinelli. His response? Well, yes, everybody knows Coach Martinelli around Ashland. In fact, the football field inside Jack Miller Stadium is named after the iconic coach, and monuments outside the gate of the stadium are dedicated to Martinelli and one of his former players, Northmore graduate Bill Royce, who set the NCAA record for career sacks with 91. They are the only two AU Eagles enshrined in the College Football Hall of Fame. Royce was inducted in 2016 and Martinelli in 2002. He didn't tell me any of that, Andrews said. Did he have a great career at Ashland? Sounds like they still have more catching up to do. They spent an hour on the phone reminiscing, and they have Jenny Larisha to thank for it. Hoping to contact Martinelli, she reached out to the News Journal for help after seeing stories about the legendary coach online. She called Martinelli with Andrew's phone number, and Martinelli didn't waste any time reaching out to his old receiver. Al was a tall, angular kid, Martinelli said. He was a tight end type, but he could move out of that position and get down the field. I think we only won 2 games that year, but that 60-yard pass, being sort of a big play, gave me confidence I could play quarterback, and I went on and started the next 2 years. Martinelli believed the Wildcats were 7-2 his junior year and 8-1 his senior year under head coach Jim Scarfpin. He thinks Scarfpin, who played for the University of Pittsburgh, lining up in one game opposite Fordham's Vince Lombardi, maybe you've heard the name, was good enough to coach at higher level. Even though Westerville ran the single wing, Martinelli threw 11 touchdown passes as a senior, which stood as the school record for a number of years. Westerville later became what is now Westerville South. While Martinelli and Andrews made a great tandem at Westerville, it can't compare to the bond formed there by Martinelli and his future wife Ruth. She was a cheerleader and played in the band. She invited me to dance for our first dance when she was a junior, but I first saw her when she was a freshman, Martinelli said. She had a great suntan. I didn't know her, but I thought, wow, some lucky guy. And I turned out to be that lucky guy. She's been the wind under my sails. They both attended Otterbein University and got married his senior year. Ruth, who was 1 year behind in school, finished college at Ashland and became an elementary school teacher. He launched what would become a Hall of Fame coaching career at Belleville High School, now Clear Fork. They celebrated their 70th wedding anniversary last December 23rd. Little did Martinelli know that 5 months later, those wonderful memories of Westerville would come flooding back. He learned that Andrews went on from high school to the Air Force, flying 15 missions over Germany in 1944 as a tail gunner on a B-17 bomber. After the service, he became an accomplished contractor in Lorain County and spent 25 years as a football and basketball official. Before moving to Northeast Ohio, Andrews was a masonry superintendent in Worcester, where he got to know 2 Wayne County sports legends in Bobby Knight and Dean Chance. He had an arm. Man, he could throw a ball, Andrews said of Chance, who went to Northwestern High School and went on to become one of the top pitchers in the major leagues, winning the 1964 Cy Young Award for the Los Angeles Angels. I used to catch him when we were practicing. Almost broke my hand. Those hands were gold when it came to being on the other end of Martinelli's passes. What a nice guy. What a nice conversation, Andrews said of their, pardon the pun, chance to catch up. He enjoyed it just like I did, he said. I'll put your name in my Rolodex, and I'm going to call you again. Isn't that endearing? My heart is pumping for joy. Moving on, local news briefs. There's a portion of Main Street closed for water main repairs. In Mansfield, North Main Street from West 3rd to West 4th Street is closed until further notice for water main repairs. Construction signs are posted at the work site. Traffic is advised to plan an alternate route to avoid possible delays. No traffic will be permitted to pass through. Any questions concerning the clothing may be directed to the City Service Complex during normal business hours, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at 419-755-9806. There will be fire hydrant flushing in Ontario to start June 15th. Ontario, the Springfield Township Fire Department, in cooperation with the Ontario Water Department, will begin flushing fire hydrants the week of June 15th. The flushing will normally be done between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Some discoloration of water may occur during flushing. This is due to sediments and particulates in the water mains that are rolling during flushing. Roiled. Residents are strongly advised not to do laundry during these hours, as this could lead to discoloration of clothes. However, the water is safe for drinking. Ew. The water department has special detergent available to remove rust stains from clothing if necessary. Residents are also asked not to plant shrubs or trees within 5 feet of a fire hydrant, as this can make it extremely difficult for firefighters to locate or operate a fire hydrant when needed. Residents with hydrants that are obscured will be asked to trim or remove foliage. If you have questions about the flushing program, contact the Ontario Water Department at 419-529-3815. Avita Ontario earns top patient satisfaction rating. How about that? In Ontario, Avita Ontario Hospital has earned a 5-star rating in patient satisfaction by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, or the CMS. This is the highest rating and reflects the best patient experience. The rating is based on scores and outcomes yielded from the Hospital Consumer Assessment of Healthcare Providers and Systems, the HCA HPS survey, a national standardized and publicly reported survey of patients' perspectives of hospital care. Avita Ontario Hospital was one of only 11 hospitals in the state and 216 in the country to earn this prestigious 5-star rating in patient satisfaction. Nationally, only 4.8% of hospitals deliver this level of patient satisfaction. Per the HCA HPS survey, 99% of patients reported that they would either probably or definitely recommend Avita Ontario Hospital. For more information on Avita Health Systems, visit avitahealth.org. Well, let's talk about upcoming meetings in the very near future. Shelby Safety Committee will meet remotely at 3:30 p.m. Wednesday. The meeting will be live streamed via the city's website at www.shelbycity.oh.gov. The Pioneer Career and Technology Center Board of Education will hold its regular June Board of Education meeting at 7 p.m. Monday in the Pioneer Community Room at the Pioneer Career and Technology Center. Wow, I guess this concludes the reading of the Mansfield News Journal for Tuesday, June 9th. My name is Pam. Please stay in if you can. Be safe. Be blessed, and you make it a great day. And I hope you enjoyed some of this 90-degree weather.